We're going to talk tonight about the home theater system that actually came to fruition. And it may be a multi-part series if it gets to be really too long, and it could be. So I posted a video the other night about the two-story home theater or standalone theater, which was going to be in the second story, and the first story was going to be like arcades, pinball machines, air hockey table, maybe a pachinko machine or whatever pachinko, or if there was room, possibly a pool table. But I doubt there would have been room for a pool table and a air hockey table at the same thing. But a jukebox was something that we definitely wanted to incorporate no matter what. So we got a Row R86 200 selection 45 RPM jukebox, and I got some wall boxes in hopes to use one of them in our dining room area. So we ran like a DB9 cabling from the addition home theater room to the dining room area, and you would be able to control the jukebox with this wall box. Had to rebuild the two little speakers that were in it and clean up some other stuff, but and it lit up and all that stuff. Didn't really get the token and coin thing working correctly, but we can talk about that some other time. So I don't really have anything as far as pictures, as far as I know, before it being kind of framed out, and I guess the roof was already on it, and the trusses were already engineered and installed. I got the little attic vent fan there, and it was a 16 by 24 build initially, plus the actual hallway, which is kind of a separate room in itself that connects the old home to the addition. This was the front entrance, so it would have an entrance from the home to the addition, and since this was going to be the living room and home theater, we wanted an entrance in it as well. So that would make 3 entrances to the home. You can see we opted to do plywood instead of OSB, and we probably could have done OSB a lot cheaper. It probably would have been a better option. I can tell you though, we talked to a lot of hardware people, Home Depot, Lowe's and all, and some of them said don't even put the roofing boards up, just put them on purlins and don't worry about it. I was a little bit skeptical. I really don't think I would have used just purlins and the roofing, the engineered roofing framing. But like I said, I probably would use OSB to do it a little bit cheaper. Here we're doing the sheathing, or whatever you call it, the wall sheathing, and we did opt to go with OSB on that one. And again, you can use straight siding without using OSB or whatever. You lose some of your durability, your strength, I think, and you also lose a slight amount of insulation value, but it's more likely if you go from siding directly to the wall frame. You will probably have air drafts and stuff unless it's sealed really well. Obviously put tar paper, to give it that kind of weather barrier before putting the siding on. We used insulated windows, and these were special order, I believe, from Home Depot, but luckily we did not have to pay the full price for them. Somebody else paid the full price, had them special made, ordered from Home Depot. They were like $500 or more, and we got them, I think, for like $50 for both of them. So we got a really good deal. People may not like this style of window that opens only so much and in this kind of direction, but that's okay. We used the hardy plank or hardy board siding. I believe it's 4x8. As you can see here, there is flashing or whatever, because the actual room height is like 4.5 inches, something like that, above 8 foot. So that ended up being kind of an issue and an expense issue. We should have kept it at 8 foot, especially when you consider you also have to go inside and frame it and put the extra little sheetrock on the top and all that good stuff. So we probably could have saved, $1,000 by just keeping it at 8 foot. Another kind of inside shot at the walls and stuff and framing. And we had a lot of, boards, making sure everything was level as we put the OSB on and put the, I forget what these are called, that keeps the frame sturdy. Here's the back of the building with the OSB sheeting in with the hardy board. So building your hardy board up at the top, and it is pretty high because this is a swamp, a wetland, so everything had to be built up high for the septic tank and everything to hook to the original home. So we had to kind of come in a similar height, I guess, slightly different, but to make a little nice walkway from the addition, through the hallway to the other home. I actually hired somebody to do this stuff, and they did not a great job. To the front, the OSB sheeting, here's the window, main doorway, and again we put the OSB and everything. We started from the bottom and went up. Same view. Now it's tar paper. It's got all this flashing, weatherproofing stuff on it. The doors and the windows. Here's the inside view of that front. Of course, the media closet, isn't framed in yet, so we used a pretty heavy door there. To the front view, the hardy board siding or whatever was starting to go up there, and it was up. And like I said, we had somebody do the top portion, and of course it's flashed here, so whenever you stack top to bottom or whatever, you have this little flashing material that prevents the rain from going underneath all this stuff here and causing rot. At the back, finished that, put the little vent there on it. This was the back wall, and this stuff is called blocking. I just looked at my notes. It's been so long since I worked on this addition, I forgot what it's called. Blocking every 4 foot or so. We put a dedicated breaker box inside of the addition. Subflooring was put down, and we used I guess the really bright halogen lighting to work at night. Back view of the room, I added a extra 2x4x8 there, so predicting that was where the pull down projector screen was going to go, and I could easily install something in the stud. I added some extra studs and support here to the ceiling where the media closet was going to be installed, and I did not have to do this, but it just allows just a little bit more stability and support on the top section of the media closet. So I opted to do canned or recessed lighting on the addition. I think I put 6, so 1 ended up being in the media closet and 5 in the main theater or living room area. And I kind of worried about what it was going to look like after I started installing them, thinking like around the edges where it wasn't like perfectly flush with the sealing the sheetrock. But once the lights were in, they looked okay. You know, take it or leave it, I guess, is what I would say about, when you choose your lights. These frames here are probably better suited to new construction, like when we, without sheetrock in, so you can attach and access all the, the rafters and studs and stuff like that. So if it's old construction, maybe I would do something different. And here's what they kind of look like before you put your sheetrock on them. And they can kind of flex and lean down or whatever. That's okay. Once you get your sheetrock, on, against them, they're not going to go past the sheetrock or anything like that. This was the second roll of speaker cable we used because we had the receiver actually in the main home in like a media shelf, for the electronics. It was in a different area than the speakers and the TV and projector, so we had to run a lot of cabling. I mean, not just speaker cabling. Probably over 1,000 feet of power, speaker, Ethernet, serial connections, HDMI, AV connections. So I was definitely adamant about doing like dual ceiling fans. So I got 2 ceiling Bryson box kits, 2 Harbor Breeze classic style fans. Again, you can get the whole kit with the lights on them, or you can even add them on to a lot of these fans. But I thought, well, I've got 5 recessed, floodlight style light systems already in the living room / home theater. I don't really need to add, 3 lights to this fan and 3 lights to that fan, or whatever configuration, Our in-ceiling speakers. Now this is a debate, a lot of people say, in-ceiling speakers, at least before Atmos and DTS-X, you may not get the right directionality, I guess, of like surround speakers. These have adjustable tweeters and stuff, so that you can move the sound to kind of anywhere, the seating position, wherever your seating position is. These were Yamaha NS-IW 280C natural sound 3-way speakers. I initially bought 1 set, and the seller said, "Hey, are you interested in another set? I'm clearing, my inventory of these out." And he sent me a second set free, so I got them from half price. Of course, you gotta have your installation. So this was the projector AV and power box, and I'm glad I put that power box in the ceiling because I could also plug stuff in at night or whenever, lights, while we were working, and use it before, the projector was even installed. I ran most of the Cat 5 or whatever, Cat 5e wire cabling to a single box to in future have like a switch or hub or something in. I believe this was in the media closet, so you can see the can lighting. You see the shimmering and all. I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 4 lights up here testing them or something. That one must not have had a light in it yet. Of course, we insulated the ceiling and can lighting there. What I did not do was to go with a blown in insulation over top of that once the ceiling was put on. So we probably did not have the recommended R value in the attic. But with that being said, with the attic fan and the passive ventilation, it seemed like it did pretty good without it. Cutting out holes for the speaker. Finally, we got the sheetrock up, so you can see the speaker, and then there were the projector, AV, and the 3 lights back there. The cheap little projector mount we used, and tons of AV cables and stuff. This is where the DLP 3D TV was going to connect to, and then it was going to shoot up, I guess, a connection to the projector as well. So we got, composite HDMI, tons of speakers, component video. I think two plus, coax, antenna style connections for satellite or whatever we wanted. And we started building in the media closet. So we really went through several kind of design plans when we thought about putting this closet up here. I was thinking of doing some kind of like reptile display cages, kind of in wall, where you see one long side, in the living room, like Euromastics or something like that. And that's something that was in one of the design plans. Another design plan was to not have the media closet there, but rather put like a drinking bar there, a mixing station. But finally I decided, media, for the movies and video games and stuff like that. So I needed storage space, and I had, I looked at, read and looked at YouTube videos of, some storage ideas for stuff, and I decided, like I said, on doing a media closet. Out, just kind of looking at what it's going to look like. The manual pull down screen, I think it's 92 or 94 inch 16 by 9 screen. It was time to sheetrock the inside walls and stuff. This would be the side facing opposite the home. This would be the back. You can kind of see some of the equipment connections. We were starting to get wall plates, trying to figure out, we got keystone plates and a variety of other, I think these were all speaker connections, and those 3 there may have been, HDMI and 3 RCA connections. One might have been subwoofer. I'm not sure what the other 2 were. Now this, I guess, is the soffit connection here where the roof overhangs, and we put plywood, I believe, and then we use this soffit venting or whatever. I think I found it on clearance, so I got all of it for probably like $5 or $10 to do the whole home. It is with all of the plywood up and painted. I think we painted it before we put it up. Here would have been our 3rd roll of speaker cable. So we started with a 250 foot roll, then we got a 300 foot roll, and this is a 500 foot roll. I'm not sure if we used every bit of it though, probably not. So I think we're going to end it there with part 1 of the first home theater system coming to fruition. I can't even say it. Anyway, the whole idea of how this came to be is in another video, but we'll kind of briefly summarize it. I didn't grow up in home theater stuff, like sound, and to me sound is better than video. Video quality is still good or great. I love 3D, as well, so those are big things. But I got some Pro Logic receivers from like storage auctions and stuff. Sorry, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm really starting to mess up my words, which is probably a good reason why it's time to end part 1. So I experimented with the Pro Logic receivers, 4.0, 5.1, and I wanted more, and I got into laser discs, and we started seeing like people doing outdoor theaters, which reminded me of the drive-in, which I grew up going every weekend almost to the drive-in for many years, since probably like 1980 until probably the early 90s. And I've seen almost every theatrical release, in that time period. We had just a mono speaker, that you pull out or whatever, set on the side of your window, I believe, or you could tune to an AM station, which the theaters broadcast in. But I had the idea, I wanted arcades, pinball machines, and theater. The 2-story project with all the arcades did not come to fruition, but I didn't give up. I said, okay, this is the next logical step, and I didn't know where all the money was going to come from to build it, but I wanted a nice projection system. I still would love to have an outdoor theater as well. So, 3D started becoming a home video thing. Field sequential, or frame pack 3D, sorry, not field sequential. And I got my first 3D DLP TV, a Mitsubishi, and a PlayStation 3, and a 3D kit for the TV. And that was before this was being built. I had that, or it might have been in the process of being built, I can't remember, but I bought it and I had it in the home, but it moved to the theater room, and the Optoma 3D projector also, came with the system. I built this addition knowing sort of where I was going to mount everything, sort of knowing the layout of everything besides the media closet, and I had to make a few adjustments, I believe, on the projector mount, moving it forward or backwards or something, just a little bit, just so it worked with the screen we had. But I will just end it here, and we'll make a part 2 and possibly part 2, 3, 4, whatever, in the near future.